Hello and welcome. So in today's video we're going to take a look at my 2020 Rocky Mountain Growler 40. I have been asked several times and by many people to do a review or to let them know how the bike rides. So in this video I'm going to go through some of the little things that I notice while I ride my bike, as well as some of the modifications that I've made to make it better. I was originally going to do this review while riding, but unfortunately right now we're dealing with a lot of wildfire smoke from the US, and so it's a little bit too smoky for me to go out and ride. However, I did take a little bit of footage, which I will use in this video, as you can see, to show you some of the features and point out some of the details on my specific bike. So I'm going to start with the very first thing that I noticed when I got my bike, which is the style of the frame. I like the way that it's set up in that it's kind of more stylized towards being an enduro bike with a little bit of a dirt jumper feel. So it's not set up such an upright position that you feel uncomfortable, and it's really good for going downhill on trails. And I should specify what I mean by dirt jumper feel. The way that the frame is designed means that the seat can sit lower down and gives you a little bit more clearance in front of you so that you don't have to worry about hitting anything on the top tube. On top of that, the more enduro feel refers to the fact that it's a very slack frame. The head tube on this bike is very slack, which means that it's great for going downhill. You do get a little bit of a sacrifice while pedaling uphill, because you do tend to have the issue where the handlebars want to lean a little bit more to one side or the other, and it's a little bit tight for turns because the bike is a little bit long. However, I think that it is balanced enough in that regard that it definitely makes up for that in how it performs downhill. Now, in regards to downhill riding on this bike, it's not really designed in gearing anyways, and in the stability of it, to go super duper fast. However, it is very good on technical steep hills, and with what I've done to my specific bike in being the upgrade to the brakes, it performs very, very well downhill, and I haven't had any issues so far in regards to downhill performance. So one of the unique features of this specific hardtail that I've noticed is that the frame design means that the rear end of it is quite firm. Unlike a lot of other hardtails which have some good flex to the back to kind of give you a little more suspension, this bike relies a little more on the tire pressure to give you that suspension. So the rear triangle on this bike tends to be a little bit more firm, which I personally like because it means that I'm in more control of how I want the bike to feel, and I don't have to worry about the back end moving around on me too much. And now another point, in regards to the tires and the tire pressure, the tires that come stock on this bike as of the 2020 model, I don't know if they've changed them on the new year, but I don't think they will have. The tires that come stock with it are tubeless ready, and I believe the rims and everything too. But the difference with these tires from what I've seen compared to some of the other tires is that the max pressure on these tires says that it's 30 psi. So I tend to run mine somewhere around the 20 psi range when it's kind of like normal dry conditions, and it gets me that little bit of extra traction that I like, as well as the suspension squish that I feel. One of the other nice features that Rocky Mountain has implemented into the Growler 40 as opposed to the little baby brother Growler 20 is that the Growler 40 comes with a dropper post, which is fantastic for when you're out in the trails because you don't have to worry about getting off, loosening out your seat post, and then dropping it. You can just use the dropper post, which is fantastic. So the stock Growler 40 comes with 180mm front and rear rotors that are only compatible with organic pads, not metal pads. So I went ahead and decided to swap out both my front and my rear, my front with a 203mm and my rear with a 180mm metal compatible rotor, as well as metal pads. This was more a matter of personal preference, but honestly, I would highly suggest this upgrade if you do any significant downhill riding. The 203mm front rotor gives you that extra grip on your brakes as you're trying to slow down or keep yourself held on a hill, which I find has made a significant difference for me when it comes to riding downhill stuff. So I know that when it comes to pedals and grips, usually it's whatever the person likes, but in my specific case, I seem to have found that the DMR Death grips are my kind of go-to for the grips, and then the pedals that I got are a set of B87 pedals by V60. So this is my review of the 2020 Rocky Mountain Growler 40. The new model just came out, and the difference that I noticed, that's the main difference, is that the front fork on the new one starts at a 130 on the Growler 20 and goes up to a 150 on the Growler 50. So you get a little bit more for your money with the new year model in terms of front travel anyways. But I'm not sure that there's that big of a performance difference in terms of other components. I know that they did switch a couple of things. All of that can be found on their website. If you have any questions or anything that you want to know specifically about the bike that I have, and any questions about certain performance aspects of it, please leave a comment below, and I will get back to you in the comments as quickly as I can, and I could possibly make a follow-up video with some of those specific details too. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope I got you a little bit more information about this bike, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.